A vision of hope, a calling of compassion, a heart of healing. Rand Paul has restored the sight of hundreds in Haiti, Guatemala, and here in Kentucky. In Washington, Rand serves as a voice of reason, advocating for early COVID treatments, which saved the lives of loved ones. And as the pandemic spread, Rand volunteered at a Bowling Green hospital after his own recovery. Courage and compassion, our Senator, Rand Paul.
I'm Rand Paul, and I approve this message.
There is no way to ignore it. You hear it on the news, online, from your friends and family. What happened to my money? Whether it got hit by falling stocks and bonds, with the coronavirus, shrunk by a floundering 401k with low interest rates, and is riding the extreme ups and downs of the stock market, many Americans are worried about their money and how they're going to retire. Help protect your financial future now and call J.D. Mellberg for your complimentary book from a leading financial firm that shows you ways not to run out of money whether the market goes up or down. This free book reveals little-known truths about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms that can protect your money for a lifetime. As a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report summarizing the rates and benefits of annuities from hundreds of top-rated insurers, helping you to find ways to get up to 33% more income in retirement. That's right. 2 books, both absolutely free, for calling J.D. Mellberg. Help protect your financial future. Call 800-208-9304. That's 800-208-9304. Call now.
Contact your local cable company to get in the circle.
Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, the balance of power in the U.S. Congress could be at a tipping point. The results start coming in soon. And if you have not yet voted in Kentucky, you have less than 30 minutes to get in line.
Plus, beautiful weather continues for the beginning of the work week, but changes are on the way. The latest as Mountain News at 5:30 starts now.
Good evening from WYMT Election Headquarters. I'm Steve Hensley. The polls will close in less than half an hour. With several congressional seats on ballots across the country, the balance of power is teetering. WYMT White House correspondent John Decker explains what could happen as the vote count starts to come in.
The U.S. Senate split down the middle, 50-50, with Democratic Vice President Kamala Harris as the tie-breaking vote. To tip the scales, Republicans need a net pickup of just 1 seat, but they're defending a total of 21. Democrats only have to defend 14 seats, but 3 of those seats are considered toss-ups, meaning they don't lean Democratic or Republican. And historically, since World War II, the president's party loses an average of about 4 Senate seats in the midterms. As for the House, all 435 House seats are up for grabs. Democrats have a precariously slim majority, just 8 seats. That means Republicans need a net pickup of 5 seats to flip that chamber. Since World War II, the party out of power typically gains an average of about 26 House seats in the midterms. So what's at stake? For Democrats, holding on to the House and Senate would allow President Biden to move forward with his legislative agenda. That includes a proposal for codifying abortion rights after the overturning of Roe v. Wade. Biden is also pushing to expand access to child care, address racial discrimination in policing, and install more like-minded federal judges. For Republicans, gaining control could mean rolling back the president's corporate tax increases and climate change spending. The GOP is also looking to crack down on immigration and promote energy production. Of course, these GOP initiatives would be hard to pass over a Senate filibuster, much less a presidential veto. And don't forget, Republican control of Congress would also likely mean a slew of subpoenas and investigations of the Biden administration. In Washington, I'm John Decker.
Well, the polls close here in eastern Kentucky in a little less than 30 minutes. Now, if you are in line at 6 o'clock, you should be still allowed to vote. Across the region today, we saw steady lines. Some have worried whether the flood would impact turnout in places like Knott and Letcher counties. However, from what we have heard, turnout in both counties appears higher than usual. Now, again, if you want to vote, there's still time, but remember, you must be in line before 6 o'clock. 93 pre-election day complaints have been called in to the election fraud hotline before the polls opened today. In our region, 27 complaints were filed prior to today due to early no-excuse voting. Now, most of them were electioneering complaints, but some were more serious. In Letcher and Owsley counties, vote buying or selling was one issue. One convicted felon voting was also called in from Owsley County. We'll have an update on some of the calls in today coming up at 6. But now, if you notice something suspicious or have any questions or concerns, you're urged to call the Election Fraud Hotline at 1-800-328-VOTE.
Weather-wise, things are mostly quiet throughout the region. We have no weather worries out there. The one thing we've been watching is a forest fire in parts of Estill County. That may actually be affecting the sunsets throughout parts of the Kentucky River Valley. Here's a look right now from our Mountain Parkway camera at Slade. Now, that's on the Wolf-Powell County line, but it's a little bit down from where that fire is, and we're noticing a little bit more red on the horizon as the sun sets. That might have something to do with the smoke from that fire. Not definitely, but it's something we'll watch. Still near 70 there in downtown Whitesburg, shrouded in darkness as our sunset continues. You see the cars with the lights on, perhaps trying to get in to vote here before the 6 o'clock poll closing. Low to mid-60s all throughout the region. Still a few 70s out there. Middlesboro, Harlan, Somerset, Monticello, even Jonesville still at 72. So mild air continues in parts of the mountains. We've got a couple of stories on satellite and radar, one just off the screen, the other getting going across the central part of the country. That'll be for a little bit later on in the week, but for tonight, mostly clear skies, weather no worry as you watch those election results roll in a little bit later on tonight. We're down into the low 40s. Details, though, on when we could talk about some much colder air. That's in a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Evan, thank you. Now let's take a look at just a few of the races we'll be watching closely tonight. Republicans will look to hold on to their large majority in the state Senate. One of the seats Democrats would love to pick up is in the 30th District. Senator Brandon Smith of Hazard has held that seat since 2008. Democrat Sid Allen is challenging the Republican. A contentious race for London mayor. One of several races for mayor we'll be watching tonight. The race pits Randall Weddle against Judd Weaver. This one has become heated at times. Current Mayor Troy Rutter decided not to seek re-election. He has served the city since 2007 as mayor. A write-in candidate will win the right to serve Martin County, a unique race over there. Voters are deciding between interim judge executive Alon Lafferty, who was just appointed days ago by the governor, and he's a former judge executive as well. Also running Jimmy Don Kerr, Marlena Sloan, Benjamin York, and Mitchell Crum. Again, this is a write-in race. A current judge executive Colby Kirk is not running after being named president and CEO of One East Kentucky. This will mark Martin County's third judge executive in 1 year's time. A rubber match in Somerset for the mayor's seat. Incumbent Alan Keck is being challenged by former Mayor Eddie Girdler. These two have faced off twice before. Girdler fended off Keck as the incumbent in 2014, but then lost the rematch in 2018. Republicans did not have a name on the ballot for Floyd County Judge Executive. Instead, incumbent Robbie Williams faces Democrat Willie Crace Jr. Williams made headlines 4 years ago when he ran as an independent and won after losing his primary race. A familiar name is challenging Congressman Andy Barr in Kentucky's 6th District. Democrat Jeff Young tossed his name in the hat against the Republican incumbent. Young has run for several different federal and statewide offices through the years, but has never prevailed. That's the wrong graphic there. Now, Barr has won the seat for the first time 10 years ago when he defeated incumbent Ben Chandler. Well, Democrats want to take back the 99th state representative seat. They put Kevin Anderson up to challenge Republican incumbent Richard White. The 99th district was a longtime Democrat stronghold before Rocky Adkins joined Governor Beshear's administration. There's a look at those two candidates. It's a seat Democrats hope to win back to cut into the Republican supermajority in Frankfort. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, looking to jump into the housing market next year, what you need to know about inflation's impact on interest rates.
Plus, continuing to watch cooler air work in overnight and even more cooler weather late in the week. That breakdown ahead after this.
WYMT News app offers alerts on breaking stories as they happen, customized to the categories you choose. The WYMT News app, powered by Appalachian Wireless.
Are you tired of the same old cell phone? Want a new phone, but really don't want to pay the hundreds of dollars up front for it? Appalachian Wireless has a deal for you. Get the phone you actually want instead of settling for a cheaper phone with the Appalachian Advantage plan. Instead of paying $600 or more for the best phone, simply pay the taxes up front and then a few bucks a month more on your monthly bill. Stop by your local Appalachian Wireless store or dealer today for more information. It's the better, simpler way to pay. And it's called the Appalachian Advantage because we are you. We are
Some trials go beyond the courtroom. In the heat of conflict, justice stands for the attorneys of the Judge Advocate General.
Semper Fi, man.
Semper Fi.
JAG.
What's your injury case really worth? There's only one Morgan & Morgan.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dave Baker. To be the hero and win the game, you've got to give it a shot. And on November 18th, participating health departments in eastern Kentucky are going to give it a shot, wiping out Hep A, tetanus, COVID, influenza, and monkeypox with free shots. Now, these vaccines are so important to keeping the people of eastern Kentucky healthy, and best of all, they're free to anybody 18 years and older. On November 18th at your participating health departments. See the details at giveitashotky.com. Come on, eastern Kentucky, do your part on November 18th and give it a shot.
No one should face breast cancer alone. I'm Janelle Hale, founder and CEO of the National Breast Cancer Foundation. Early detection saved my life. It could save yours too. Learn more at nbcf.org/hope.
Oh boy.
What?
We better get out of here. That clown is about to hit a water line.
He didn't contact 811 to mark the underground utilities.
Nope.
You saw that coming. Too bad he didn't.
Know what's below. 811 before you dig.
When it comes to reducing energy costs, you might not immediately think about your windows, siding, or doors as being the largest energy loss in your home. At Window World, we replace inefficient, money-losing builder-grade products with beautiful American-made windows, siding, and doors. Our guarantee of low pricing and highest quality, backed by the industry's strongest lifetime limited warranty, allows you to eliminate the largest monthly money loss in your home. Search Window World for a free, no-pressure quote today.
Watch the Appalachian Wireless Game of the Week as the Letcher Central Cougars take on the Corbin Redhounds. Friday at 7:30 on HNI and WYMT.com.
The WYMT News app offers alerts on breaking stories as they happen, customized to the categories you choose. The WYMT News app, powered by Appalachian Wireless.
On this day in history, November 8th, 1983, it was also Election Day in Kentucky and a historic one. Martha Lane Collins became the first and so far the only woman elected governor of Kentucky and served until 1987. The Democrat defeated Republican Jim Bunning by more than 100,000 votes. At the time, she was the nation's only woman governor. Her major accomplishment was the use of economic incentives to bring a Toyota manufacturing plant to Georgetown. Steve Beshear served as her lieutenant governor. Collins is now almost 86 years old. More organizations are taking a stand against a racially charged attack on UK's campus. Video from the weekend shows Sophia Rosing assaulting and shouting racial slurs at Kyla Spring. She's facing a number of charges, including assault of a police officer. In a statement, the NAACP's UK chapter says it does not condone violence or hate speech. It also says, quote, "We expect the University of Kentucky to hold the perpetrator accountable to the highest extent." Last night, the campus community gathered for a march against racism. Students and activists voiced opinions on how UK has handled the incident. Spring addressed Rosing directly.
I'm deeply saddened by the events that took place, but I am most grateful for justice that is to come. And to Ms. Rosing, you will not break my spirit.
The university says its Office of Student Conduct is working through its disciplinary process We did receive word earlier today that Rosing will withdraw from school at UK. The decision was announced by Rosing's lawyer. A Rockcastle County woman convicted of a deadly dog attack has learned her fate. Back in 2020, neighbors told police they saw Melissa Wolke assaulting Donald Abner at their home on US 25. She was also giving her pit bull commands to attack him. Abner died at the scene. Wolke pleaded guilty to murder. Yesterday in court, Wolke was sentenced to 20 years behind bars, the recommended sentence as part of her plea.
Well, weather-wise, quiet as we head through the evening hours. We're going to cool down as those political races heat up this evening. You can actually see a pink kind of hue to it as our sun sets there in downtown Pikeville from our Pikeville Medical Center camera, and they're cooling quick. 60 already, the current reading there. It's been a little cooler along and south of the Highway 80 Hal Rogers, or along and north, I should say, the Highway 80 Hal Rogers Parkway corridor. Already in the upper 50s, places like Prestonsburg, Moorhead, over to Logan, West Virginia. Further to the south, we're still knocking on the door and have let, in some cases, 70 degrees in the door. In Monticello, still near 70 in London, and mid-60s as we head down to Middlesboro. For us, we look at satellite and radar throughout the region. Nothing to talk about tonight. Have high pressure in place. It's all quiet. Further off to the north and west, that's where we're watching developing low pressure and eventually a cold front getting going across the region. Further off to the south and southeast, here's where we're talking about a tropical system. This is Tropical Storm Nicole. Still a tropical storm as of 4 o'clock. What's going to happen as this moves closer to the Bahamas? It's going to strengthen into a Category 1 hurricane, make landfall somewhere near Lake Okeechobee. Further on into the weekend, that's on Wednesday. Further on into the week and into the weekend, that's going to curl up into parts of Georgia and the Carolinas. While much of the mountains not in the cone of uncertainty, as we say, look at how wide this storm is. We're still going to see some effects from it, mainly in the form of some rain showers. Not for tomorrow, though. Looking pretty nice tomorrow. Middle and upper 40s to start, into the 60s, in fact, low 70s in parts of the region as we head into tomorrow afternoon, so looking pretty good. But we start to cool off quick after that sunset, which is now getting earlier and earlier. Now, under 5:30, before 5:30, I should say. Here's what we've got. Thursday, 3 o'clock. Temperatures here. Yellow means temperatures in the 70s, light green in the 60s. Here's that front to our west. Cold air behind it. Here comes that tropical system moving up through the spine of the Appalachians. So here comes the rain as we head into the day on Friday. Temperatures are in the 50s during the day Friday because we've got the clouds and the showers. That front pushes through. It doesn't have a lot of moisture itself, but it's going to push that system further off the east coast. So here we go. Green, that's temperatures in the 50s. Light blue, 40s. Royal blue in the 30s, and even colder than that behind the front. Highs on Saturday only in the 40s in many cases, and lows by Sunday morning in the 20s. Yeah, it's going to feel like late November out there in the middle of the month. The good news is a little bit with this, we are going to see some beneficial rainfall between 1 and 3 inches as we head into Saturday or through Saturday. And the GFS latest run has us with more rain, 1 to 3 inches. So we'll watch some localized flooding issues, but I think it's going to be falling light enough over a long enough period of time that we should be in good shape. 7-day forecast where your weekend is always in view. Clouds on the increase Thursday, a rainy day on Friday for Veterans Day. So it's not looking great for the second round of the high school playoffs. Looking much better, though, as we head into the weekend, at least brighter, but a lot colder, with highs only, in some cases, in the low 40s. Steve?
All right, could definitely use a little bit of that rain. Evan, thank you. More often than not, old trends find a way to circle back and become new again. This stands true for the vinyl record industry, which has seen a resurgence in recent years. WYMT's Alyssa Williams spoke with some Eastern Kentucky record store owners.
For Eastern Kentuckians who prefer a more vintage music listening experience, they have a few local shops they can turn to.
We have a lot of younger teenagers, young adults that are really into collecting right now as well.
Mary Everidge co-owns Queen City Records in Hazard. Everidge says she believes the surge in the record industry could be attributed to a few things.
We sell a lot of like metal and soundtracks, so I think a lot of the movies are coming back out because you can actually go and watch things in theaters now.
Everidge adds that collecting vinyl records can also give people something to pass down to future generations.
We love music, you know, it gets you through the day. When you're feeling down, you put music on. So it's really good seeing it coming back. So we're hoping that it stays with the records because the records sound so much better.
Hoping to continue providing a nostalgic means of music for many years to come. In Hazard, Alyssa Williams, WYMT, Mountain News.
Queen City Records also just celebrated its one-year anniversary this past weekend. Co-owner Mary Everidge says owning this business is a dream come true. Inflation has had an impact on American budgets for much of this year, and the housing market has not been immune. In this Watching Your Wallet, consumer investigator Rachel DePompa explains why you should double-check your expenses if you're planning to buy anytime soon.
Housing prices are high across the board right now, and experts tell me they'll remain that way even if growth slows. You're likely paying more for groceries and utilities. And Elizabeth Renter, a data analyst with NerdWallet, says you need to consider all of that as you think about how much house you can afford.
So make sure you're not just thinking about how much can I afford on my house payment, but how those other things have played into how much you're spending every month.
Renter says inflation means mortgage rates are high and are likely to go higher. And as the Federal Reserve continues to raise interest rates, that can have a big impact on how much you pay each month.
People sometimes think those increases don't play a big role in how much they spend, but even a fraction of a percentage point increase can change the interest that you'll pay in thousands of dollars over the life of your loan and even hundreds of dollars on your monthly mortgage payment.
Pay attention to the interest rates on loans. Renter says, look over your budget again if you haven't in a few months and see where inflation is hitting you. You really need to see the big picture to help you make the right decisions if buying a home is in your near future. With this, Watching Your Wallet, I'm Rachel DePompa.
Coming up in sports, the Kentucky basketball season opened up on a high note last night.
Weather sponsored by Kentucky Farm Bureau. Big on commitment.
We depend on the internet for so much these days, but not all Kentuckians have access to reliable broadband service. That's why Kentucky Farm Bureau joined the American Connection Project, and we now provide free Wi-Fi access from the parking lots of nearly 200 KFB locations across the state. You see, Kentucky Farm Bureau does more than just insure homes and autos. We help ensure that more Kentuckians stay connected. Kentucky Farm Bureau. Big on commitment.
It's a fact. 2 out of 3 Americans who qualify for Medicare do not receive all the benefits they deserve. You could be missing out. Now, Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield introduces a free Medicare plan checkup to make sure you receive all the benefits you qualify for in 2023. Call 1-800-878-5180 today and receive extra benefits for a $0 monthly premium. Benefits like dental, vision, hearing, and prescription drugs. And to help you stay healthy at home, you can have free prescription drug delivery, online doctor visits 24/7, and free exercise classes. You can even receive money towards over-the-counter health items. Call 1-800-878-5180 today and feel confident you have all the benefits you deserve for 2023. You can receive extra benefits for a $0 monthly premium, like dental, vision, hearing, and prescription drugs. Call 1-800-878-5180 and make sure you're not missing out.
In 2019, my dad was diagnosed with colorectal cancer, and I was afraid of losing him. We know other people who were treated at Pikeville Medical Center, and their lives were saved. When Dad was diagnosed, we knew the Lawson Cancer Center was where he needed to be.
We performed a colonoscopy, and the results were positive. Colorectal cancer is aggressive, so we scheduled surgery immediately.
Daddy was referred to Dr. Denali. We couldn't have asked for a more compassionate doctor.
I promised Harold we would do everything we can for him, beginning with an immediate and comprehensive treatment plan. This is our goal for every patient at the Lawson Cancer Center.
It was important to begin radiation and chemotherapy in a timely manner. He responded very well to treatment.
I couldn't imagine not having my father, my kid's papa, in our lives. He's my daddy, and now he is cancer-free.
A perfect round of golf. A relaxing day at a world-class spa. A sumptuous meal in a fine restaurant. Just some of the gifts available from the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail and its resort collection. For a gift that's easy to wrap and never goes out of style, consider RTJ gift cards and resort cards. Visit rtjgolf.com/gift cards to find out more.
You're watching WYMT. WYMT Mountain Sports, your home for the Kentucky Wildcats and local high school sports.
One game down, hopefully a long road ahead for the Kentucky Wildcats this season. Kentucky got to put the first one in the win column last night, 95-63 over Howard. But it wasn't the starting five fans would have guessed a month or so ago, with Oscar Shebway, Xavier Wheeler, and Damian Collins all on the bench. But leading the way were new faces like Kaysen Wallace and Antonio Reeves, and old faces like C.J. Frederick after sitting out with injury last year.
You know, last year's team had quite a bit of experience, but, you know, I think the difference is we have guys that saw and felt what last year was like, and that's a little different. You know, you have that experience, and then you have guys that came back from a season like last year, you know, who are hungry and who are motivated, and that adds a little bit of a different dimension.
Game 2 of the season is Friday. Cats hosting Duquesne. The Duke season begins tonight against Montana. These two played in 2016 in another November matchup, Kentucky winning that one big, 93-59. Friday's game is at 7 on the SEC Network, and after that, it's the Champions Classic in Indy a week from today against Michigan State. That Friday night action in Lexington is sure to spill over into Saturday morning, the first doubleheader weekend for Big Blue fans. Kentucky set to host Vanderbilt this Saturday, the Doors riding a 5-game losing streak, including Georgia and Alabama. The Cats barely made it out of Columbia this past weekend, now 6-3, and projected by CBS Sports to play Wisconsin in the Music City Bowl. That's still a while away. Right now, the Cats have to focus on the task at hand. Game 10 of the season on deck this weekend, one of 3 home games to close out the 2022 season. It's another noon kick, broadcast on the SEC Network for fans at home. We'll have the highlights on Appalachian Wireless Sports Overtime on Saturday night. That is sports. We'll be right back.
We've all experienced the peace of mind feeling when you finally find an honest company that will give you top quality products at a great price and then stand behind what they sell you. That's exactly what Window World does. Keep more money in your bank account by searching Window World today.
You rip and tear your old statements and bills, but thieves use this information to steal your identity. Don't be a victim. Get the ID Police, the new ink roller that encrypts all your old documents. So before you throw it out, just roll it on, and your information is gone, both on the front and through the back. Even if the paper is held up to the light, even your medical information is safe with the ID Police. So block it out before you throw it out. Order now and get your ID Police for as low as $9.99 and get free shipping too. This offer is not available on Amazon, so call or click now to get your ID Police for as low as $9.99 with free shipping. Order now.
Call 1-800-905-6550. That's 1-800-905-6550 or visit getidpolice.com. So call 1-800-905-6550 now.
This is Mary Mead McKenzie, CEO of Kentucky River Community Care. On July 28, 2022, our world changed overnight as we watched so many of our neighbors, friends, and family lose so much so fast. But as always, KRCC was there to help pull our community out of the waters and mud onto dry land. And when the time for boots, shovels, and wheelbarrows is done, KRCC will be there to listen and comfort you as you process your pain, grief, and loss. If you need help, you can call KRCC at 1-800-262-7491, and someone will be there to answer your call 24/7, 365. KRCC has been your behavioral and mental health partner for over 50 years and will remain so until our job is done.
Facing eviction? Get help today. Kentucky has distributed more than $61 million already to over 11,000 Kentucky households in need, and still has plenty of rent and utility assistance available as part of the Healthy at Home Eviction Relief Fund. We can help you pay up to 15 months of rent and utility payments so you can stay in your home and avoid utility cutoffs. Check eligibility and apply online at teamkyhherf.ky.gov.
Spring brings fresh ways to save at Food City. Longer days and brighter rays bring with them incredible savings. So relish the fresh air, light breezes, and low prices at Food City.
This week, save on fresh chicken breast tenders, $2.99 per pound. Red or black seedless grapes, $1.69 per pound. Select produce items, 12 for $10 and more. Only at Food City.
Value every day, Food City.
We've all experienced the peace of mind feeling when you finally find an honest company that will give you top quality products at a great price and then stand behind what they sell you. That's exactly what Window World does. Keep more money in your bank account by searching Window World today.
Senator Rand Paul and Charles Booker are battling it out for one of Kentucky's U.S. Senate seats as the polls close on Kentucky's midterm elections. And alcohol or no alcohol, Hyden votes on whether to become a wet town.
Plus, sunshine features prominently in our forecast for much of the week, but we do have changes on the way. The latest ahead is Mountain News at 6 starts now.
Polls are officially closed, and let the counting begin. We should soon know who will take the U.S. Senate seat up for grabs in Kentucky. The results will determine if Senator Rand Paul will get a third term or if challenger Charles Booker will end the drought for Democrats in the U.S. Senate here in the Commonwealth. WYMT's Olivia Calfee has more.
Two U.S. Senate candidates both agree they have vastly different viewpoints. On one side, you have Republican and current U.S. Senator Rand Paul.
You got President Biden and former President Obama out there whining, saying, democracy is on the ballot. These idiots, democracy is the ballot.
And on the other, you have Democratic challenger Charles Booker.
Rand Paul is an unserious person. He doesn't care about our safety. He doesn't care about our lives. He called himself a libertarian. You should have asked him, why does he want to ban all abortion?
Both Booker and Paul hit the polls to cast their votes. Booker voted early in Louisville, visiting Bowling Green the night before the election.
Folks are like, write Kentucky off. Don't worry about Kentucky. I'm going to tell you the first words that are going to come out of my mouth on election night when we win this thing is, don't ignore Kentucky anymore.
Paul voted on Election Day in Bowling Green, telling reporters he's looking forward to seeing a red wave as results come in.
I think we're going to hear pretty early on the results. I think that there is going to be a red wave, and I do think that we're going to pick up the majority not only in the House but in the Senate, and I'm excited to be part of shaping a new direction for our country.
Paul and Booker are both confident in winning the Senate seat. In Hazard, Olivia Calfee, WYMT Mountain News.
If Paul wins the race, he could be on the verge of gaining more influence in the U.S. Senate. If Booker wins, he will be the first Kentucky Democrat elected to the U.S. Senate since 1992. We understand Senator Paul will be in his hometown of Bowling Green tonight, and Booker will be in Louisville. We hope to hear from both as we go along this evening. Also on the ballot today for everyone are two constitutional amendments. The first would provide more power to the Kentucky General Assembly by allowing legislators to call themselves into a special session and potentially extend regular sessions to end later in the year. Currently, only the governor can call lawmakers into a special session, and they can only pass bills within parameters set by the governor. Amendment 2 focuses on abortion rights. Of course, no results in just yet. If passed, Amendment 2 would explicitly state there is no right to abortion in Kentucky's state constitution. This comes, of course, in the wake of the U.S. Supreme Court's Dobbs decision, which turned abortion policy over to the states. Eastern Kentuckians who did not vote early headed to the polls today to cast their ballots. We've heard of long lines in some locations. WYMT's Dakota Makris caught up with a few of those voters this morning.
Your vote's important. You better use it while you can.
Floyd County voter Bonnie Shepard says that she and her family always vote.
I got 9 children, 33 grandchildren that can vote.
Voters deciding local races like judge executive, jailer, and also voting on Amendments 1 and 2, which focus on the General Assembly calling itself into a special session without the governor's approval and keeping abortion out of Kentucky's Constitution.
That's why I stick with all the family. We all vote the same, and we just got a real good group backing us.
Voter Melissa Salmon says it is important for Kentuckians to cast their ballots so their voices are heard.
Make people hear you, the ones that are in office. And, if it's somebody that doesn't represent you well, then you don't vote for them. Or if it's somebody that will represent you well, then you vote for them.
Salmon says when she votes, she hopes she always chooses the right person for the job.
Maybe somebody else will vote the same as me, and, with 2 of us or more, then our voices will be heard for what we want for our government.
Hoping their voices and votes are heard. Dakota Makris, WYMT Mountain News.
Attorney General Daniel Cameron released a list of complaints to the Election Law Violations Hotline, and as of earlier today, Breathitt, Floyd, Knott, Laurel, Perry, Pike, Powell, Rowan, and Wayne counties were the counties in our region to receive at least one Election Day complaint. There were others before the election with early voting, but if you notice something suspicious or have any questions or concerns, you are urged to call the Election Fraud Hotline at the number you see there on your screen, 1-800-328-VOTE.
Polls are closed. The sun is down throughout the region. A cool night on the way for many of us after some of us got up into the 70s this afternoon. A look throughout the region, at least out front of WYMT election headquarters here in Hazard. Low to mid-60s out there at the moment. The sun is down. The last of the sunset from our picture in southern Perry County at Buffalo Mountain. A beautiful scene there as we head after dark on this election day. Upper 50s already working into the northern parts of the region. Middle and upper 60s still further to the south. That's where the warmest air has been today, along and south of the Highway 80 Hal Rogers Parkway corridor. Region-wide, we're quiet, really much of the eastern third of the country, but we do have some changes on the way for later in the work week. For tonight, though, weather-wise, we're quiet. Mostly clear, winds calm, lows down into the low to mid-40s. Details in a few minutes, though, on when we return to some more late November-type weather a little early. That's in a few minutes. Steve?
Right, Evan, thank you. The city of Hyden in Leslie County is having its first ever wet-dry vote. WYMT's Chandler Wilcox has more on how the question got on the ballot and which side some voters in the city are leaning.
A lot of races in Leslie County are uncontested, but there is one question on the ballot this year in Hyden that is the talk of the town. Should they allow alcohol sales or not?
We are a trail town now, and people that come for trail town, they like to drink, they like to have a good time.
Other towns in the region already allow alcohol sales, including Hazard, where a lot of Leslie Countyans go for booze.
The other counties around us already have it, and they certainly have more money to spend on like police officers and activities than we do.
The revenue is a big reason people in the area are for making Hyden a wet town. Others say the decision would go against their beliefs.
As a Christian, I can't vote for alcohol of any kind. It's against my beliefs.
Around 300 people currently reside in Hyden, and only around 180 of them are registered to vote. So the decision could come down to just a few community members. In Hyden, Chandler Wilcox, WYMT Mountain News.
And we'll certainly keep a close eye on that race. Those results could come in pretty quickly. The last time Leslie County had a wet-dry vote, it was a county-wide decision back in 1989, and voters overwhelmingly chose no. I believe Leslie is only one of 10 counties that remain completely dry in the state of Kentucky. Congressman Hal Rogers is eyeing his 22nd term in the nation's capital tonight. He was first elected to the 5th congressional seat in 1981. Rogers is facing Democrat and University of Louisville law student Connor Hallbleib. Hallbleib is a political newcomer and was born and raised in Louisville. One of Kentucky's last remaining state Democrats faces stiff competition. Many believe State Representative and Minority Whip Angie Hatton could fall victim to the red wave tonight. She is being challenged by political newcomer Dr. Jacob Justice. The Republican is from Pike County and works as a dentist. The seat includes Letcher and parts of Pike and Harlan counties. In the 95th District, former State Representative Brandon Spencer wants that seat back. He first served the district when he won as a Democrat in 2007 before resigning the remainder of his term. Spencer is challenging Democrat incumbent Ashley Tackett Lafferty. She first won the 95th District seat in 2019. Tackett Lafferty is an attorney. That seat serves Floyd and a part of Pike counties. An interesting race in Letcher County where Judge Executive Terry Adams faces a familiar name. The Republican incumbent is being challenged by Democrat Sam Wright. You might remember Wright's name from previous elections. He's a former circuit judge and Kentucky Supreme Court justice. Two familiar faces are slugging it out to lead Knott County. We've heard from both of them numerous times since the flood especially. Republican incumbent Judge Executive Jeff Dobson is squaring off against Hindman Mayor and Democrat Tracy Neese. This is Dobson's first re-election bid. Just some of the races we'll be following tonight, and a reminder, as soon as we start receiving results, and I believe we are starting to receive them now, barely, we've got the results there at the bottom of your screen, and we'll have those also on our website and WYMT News app. They'll be updated as soon as they come in all evening long. Elections have always been a time for serious contemplation and often severe contention. One such election has been shared for more than a century as part of the feud that has fueled tourism in the region. WYMT's Buddy Forbes shares how a fateful election in Pike County will now play a role in the area's future.
If this cabin could talk today, imagine the stories it could tell.
The Hog Trial Cabin just opened its doors to politics for the first time in more than 140 years.
It was a big party back at that time, the elections was. There's a lot of gambling and moonshining going on and ended up killings.
Ellison Hatfield of the infamous Hatfield and McCoy feud was shot and stabbed near the cabin during an election in 1882.
And they loved the story of the Hatfields and McCoys. And it's something that we need to take pride in. It's something, a story that we have that no one else has.
Stories of the literal trials, but also the trials people pushed through.
Can you imagine back in the day, voting at this site, coming across these mountains? We didn't have roads. It was horseback and coming through the creek.
Preserved on a property that can now serve as the polling place for the people in McCarr who would otherwise have to travel further to get involved.
But this brings so much opportunity to this area for tourism and actually for this local community to be able to use this site to vote.
Looking back to see the steps that were taken.
But we're not just voting today, we're also preserving our history and heritage for our children going forward. And that is something that we always take pride in.
And using their influence to create a trail for the future. In Pike County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Scott says there was a good turnout of voters at the cabin, and he hopes the convenience and character of the place will impact the voter turnout for the area. Now, we are hearing tonight that several counties are reporting backups in getting voters through the polls. That's coming from several different counties right now. Now, although the polls closed at 6 o'clock, if you were in line at 6, you should still get to vote. Of course, if there are lines and it takes, 30 minutes to an hour to get everybody through, that will, of course, delay the reporting of results. We have started receiving, as you can see at the bottom of your screen, a few results. And again, you can check the results anytime as they come in at the bottom of your screen on our website, WYMT.com, or on the WYMT News app.
Well, ahead in the forecast, a cooler trend on the way later this week. The breakdown on how we get there ahead.
And the man accused of killing a London police officer was back in court this morning. We'll tell you what happened. Plus, Eddie Montgomery of Montgomery Gentry was in London today to help distribute money to flood victims. We talked to someone who received the help.
WYMT News app offers alerts on breaking stories as they happen, customized to the categories you choose. The WYMT News app, powered by Appalachian Wireless.
When justice needs to be served.
You can't do squat. Watch me.
And lives are at stake.
There is a special place in heaven for people like you.
One man will always answer the call.
Walker.
Walker. Walker.
Walker. Walker.
Well, speak of the devil.
Having fun yet?
Walker, Texas Ranger.
A Medicare Advantage plan should come with all the benefits you want and zero compromises. With Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield, it can. Just go to anthem.com/answers or call 855-753-3042 for a free one-on-one Medicare plan review. Ask about our $0 monthly premium plans that include dental, vision, and hearing coverage, along with transportation, a gym membership, and $0 copay for prescriptions, all for zero extra cost. Plus, you could be eligible for extra benefits to help you save even more. We have plans with up to $2,600 a year to help you pay for over-the-counter health items, groceries, and living expenses like cell phone, electric, or water bills, all on a single prepaid MasterCard you can use at thousands of locations nationwide. Call Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield at 855-753-3042 or visit anthem.com/answers and get a Medicare plan with zero compromises for you and your wallet.
I was diagnosed with stage 4 lung breast cancer in 2015. It's hard to describe how you feel when you're told something like that. I did end up going to Vanderbilt. I went through treatment there around 3 years and nothing was working. Dr. Noyes at Vanderbilt, he said, I can also fix for you to be at home and take them there at Hazard. I'd never met Dr. Bailey before, and he's just a wonderful doctor. He's very easygoing and listens to you, so we just developed a rapport right off.
We devised a plan to give a treatment that covered multiple different kinds of cancers. And once it started to work, we're all really excited. And then when it didn't show up at all in scans, it was really exciting because we were really expecting hopefully to keep it stable, not for it to move very fast. The results we got were really more than we could have hoped for. It's a success all around.
I think she truly is a miracle. In any illness, no matter what it is, I do think that's important. I feel like the people taking care of you really cares how you're doing. I'm just very, very thankful to be here.
The WYMT News app offers alerts on breaking stories as they happen, customized to the categories you choose. The WYMT News app, powered by Appalachian Wireless.
A grand jury will now consider a murder and DUI indictment against a Tennessee man accused in a London police officer's death. Probable cause was found against Casey Bird in a Laurel District courtroom today. Police say Bird was drunk when his pickup truck crashed into Officer Logan Medlock's cruiser early in the morning on October 30th. A state trooper testified that Bird's blood alcohol level was .293 and that he had visible signs of intoxication after the crash.
He was kind of stumbling because his weight would come down on our arms, and we had to help hold him up. And then we walked back, and due to this type of level of intoxication, I was afraid to try to do any kind of physical test with him.
There was also testimony that Bird was driving 51 miles per hour in a 35 zone, but under cross-examination, the trooper said evidence on who had the light at the intersection was not available yet. We're following a developing story in Martin County. The coroner, Chris Todd, tells us 58-year-old Wanda Davis died this morning after a crash just outside of Inez. We're told the car left Highway 908 near Turkey Creek and hit a tree. 3 others were taken to the hospital. We do not know their conditions. And we're following reports of another deadly crash this afternoon in Harlan County. State Police Trooper Shane Jacobs told us at least one person is dead after that crash on Highway 522 in the Putney community. Jacobs says the road is still closed at this time and there's no time frame on when it could reopen.
Continuing to watch not only cool temperatures, but also forest fires. We've been talking about the state of emergency in place across portions of Estill County with a big fire there a little bit earlier on today, and still watching in several other counties, including Perry and Breathitt. You can see pictures of some of those on our website at WYMT.com. And we do have a fire weather warning, or red flag warning, as they say, goes into effect for just about everybody starting tomorrow morning at 11 a.m., running until tomorrow evening. So do not burn outside. Don't even flick a cigarette out the window, because it can lead to big problems in a hurry. Temperatures out there right now cooling down this evening, upper 50s along and north of the Highway 80 Hal Rogers Parkway corridor, roughly. Further to the south, still mild, low to mid 60s throughout the region. For us, we have two things we're watching. First off, low pressure and a cold front getting going across the northern tier of states. You can already see that cold front getting going. The other thing, well, that is Tropical Storm Nicole, forecast to become a hurricane as it moves across the Bahamas and eventually makes landfall north of Miami, just east of Lake Okeechobee, as we head into the day tomorrow. As it does, it will then curl up the Florida Panhandle and up into the Carolinas. For us, that means an increase in showers, which we need the rain, but that cold front also means a 1-2 punch of showers followed by very cold air. Not arriving tomorrow, upper 40s to low 50s to start, near 60 by midday, and into the 70s as we head into the afternoon, with a slow cooling through the evening and then quickly after sunset. So here's the setup as we head toward Thursday. Here's our frontal boundary. Low pressure's up across the northern tier, up into places like Minnesota. That front trails behind it. Here comes Nicole. And this yellow spot here, that's temperatures in the 70s on Thursday afternoon. Here comes those showers. By Friday morning, temperatures are in the 50s because of the clouds and the showers that we have in place. That front off to our west beginning to push in. You see all the cold air behind it. This is temperatures in the 30s. That's temperatures in the 20s behind it. We bring up that front, pushes the remnants of Nicole out of here, gets the showers out by Saturday for the most part, but we're much cooler. We're talking highs in the 40s, lows overnight down into the 20s by Sunday morning, and we stay chilly throughout the day on Sunday and even into Monday morning with those temperatures still in the 20s. Rainfall totals between 1 and 3 inches from both of our major global models, the European and the global forecast model. So it's rain we need, and it's falling over a long enough period of time. I think we'll be okay when it comes to flooding issues. Community Trust Bank 7-day forecast. You know about our rainy Veterans Day. Not looking like a great night for high school football. Clear skies back Saturday, Sunday, and into Monday, but much cooler with temperatures during the day in the 40s and at night in the 20s. So some very cold air on the way back in. Steve?
Evan, thank you. Today in London, country music star Eddie Montgomery helped to give away $30,000 to flood survivors in need. WYMT's Keaton Hall has their stories.
Brittany Short is living in a travel trailer in Letcher County after losing her home to the floods.
My husband woke up and woke us all up. If he wouldn't have got us up, we would have probably drowned because it was like a matter of time after he woke us up, the water was in the house.
Donnie Adams lost 3 cars, a side-by-side, and half of his house.
After you've worked all your life and it's gone in a matter of hours. Yeah.
On Tuesday, country music star Eddie Montgomery and former NFL tight end Jason Dunn helped give out 4 checks for $7,500 to flood survivors.
Like Eddie said, being from Kentucky, when you see your neighbors hurting, then it's your responsibility to step in to help out.
In total, $30,000 for real people in need.
I'm just glad that we could help, man, a little bit. Anything to try to get them back, just to, help our neighbors, like you said.
Now Adams has money for repairs, and Short can focus on her kids.
I have 3 kids. That money will help with that too, with putting back their stuff they lost.
Short and her family are now looking for a plot of land to build a new home. In London, Keaton Hall, WYMT Mountain News.
The annual Eddie Montgomery and Friends Golf Tournament helped raise those donations. Coming up in sports, tomorrow is National Signing Day, and a handful of mountain athletes will make their next step official.
WYMT weather, sponsored by Community Trust Bank, building communities built on trust. When it comes to reducing energy costs, you may not think about your windows, siding, or doors as being the largest energy loss in your home. At Window World, we replace money-losing builder-grade products with beautiful American-made windows, siding, and doors. Search Window World today.
A perfect round of golf. A relaxing day at a world-class spa. A sumptuous meal in a fine restaurant. Just some of the gifts available from the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail and its resort collection. For a gift that's easy to wrap and never goes out of style, consider RTJ gift cards and resort cards. Visit rtjgolf.com/gift cards to find out more.
My name's Teresa, and this is my addiction recovery care story. When I came to addiction recovery care, I was broken, lost, hopeless. I wasn't even allowed to see my kids. From the beginning, addiction recovery care gave me the tools that were necessary to live a successful life. Now I have my kids back. I'm a full-time employee, and I have the life that I never could have dreamed of for myself.
When it comes to reducing energy costs, you may not think about your windows, siding, or doors as being the largest energy loss in your home. At Window World, we replace money-losing builder-grade products with beautiful American-made windows, siding, and doors. Search Window World today.
WYMT Mountain Sports, your home for the Kentucky Wildcats and local high school sports.
Tuesday night means new playoff rankings, and it is sure to be a week of change-ups. Saturday night, the committee's number 1 and number 4 teams both lost. Tennessee at Georgia and Clemson at Notre Dame. Many people are wondering if Georgia will take over as the overwhelming favorite, if maybe TCU can sneak into the top 4, and what will happen as a result of LSU's win over Alabama. New rankings are announced tonight at 7 on ESPN. We'll have those up on our website. In the FCS rankings, our friends in Richmond earning number 24 in the FCS coaches poll. Big game for the Colonels this weekend, going on the road to face Jacksonville State. The Gamecocks are 7-2 off this past weekend and winning big against Austin Peay the week before. Saturday's game is at 2 Eastern on ESPN+. On the high school level, tomorrow is National Signing Day for basketball and more. Eyes across the Bluegrass will be on North Laurel's Reed Shepard as he puts pen to paper to play at Kentucky next year. Shepard will sign at 4 tomorrow, and WYMT will stream the signing on our Facebook page with additional coverage on Mountain News at 6. Folks should also expect to see Paintsville product Connor Fugit signed to play baseball at Kentucky. That is sports. We'll be right back.
In 2019, my dad was diagnosed with colorectal cancer, and I was afraid of losing him. We know other people who were treated at Pikeville Medical Center, and their lives were saved. When Dad was diagnosed, we knew the Lawson Cancer Center was where he needed to be.
We performed a colonoscopy and the results were positive. Colorectal cancer is aggressive, so we scheduled surgery immediately.
Daddy was referred to Dr. Denali. We couldn't have asked for a more compassionate doctor.
I promised Harold we would do everything we can for him, beginning with an immediate and comprehensive treatment plan. This is our goal for every patient at the Lawson Cancer Center.
It was important to begin radiation and chemotherapy in a timely manner. He responded very well to treatment.
I couldn't imagine not having my father, my kid's papa, in our lives. He's my daddy, and now he is cancer-free.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dave Baker. To be the hero and win the game, you've got to give it a shot. And on November 18th, participating health departments in eastern Kentucky are going to give it a shot, wiping out Hep A, tetanus, COVID, influenza, and monkeypox with free shots. Now, these vaccines are so important to keeping the people of eastern Kentucky healthy, and best of all, they're free to anybody 18 years and older. On November 18th at your participating health departments.
See the details at giveitashotky.com.
Come on, eastern Kentucky, do your part on November 18th and give it a shot.